And she took so much time doing it. I'm like, you took so much time taking off all my brows. We don't talk anymore. A little bit of like dewiness today, so I'm just gonna use my essential oil. So my essential oil stick is from MAC Cosmetics. I love this because it just hydrates my skin a little bit without making my skin feel oily or look oily. I don't really like a completely matte skin. I like a little bit of dewiness. So you can try this out if you have dry skin. This is really good for you. But if you have very oily skin, I wouldn't really advise this. So it's whatever works for your skin, really. You need to pay attention. So this is my pore perfecting complexion primer from Urban Decay. This primer really smoothens your pores, like it fills in your pores and it just gives you a smooth skin. Yeah, I like using concealer to cover like some pigmentation that I have around these specific areas, mostly due to recovered acne. I used to suffer from really bad acne, guys. It was terrible. It was terrible. If you've watched my last two videos, I used this brush and I did explain that this is my blush brush, and makeup is very versatile. Just because something says, oh, blush brush or foundation brush doesn't mean that's exactly what you have to use for the product it says it's for, if that makes sense. You can try different things and see what works for you. Some people use flat brushes. I particularly don't like using the flat brush because I don't know, I just don't like it. So, but my new favorite is using my blush brush to do my foundation application and my concealer application, or my skin application in general. And also, for me especially, when I started doing makeup like 8 years ago, and I bought like all these brush sets that are like 34 in one, 26 in one, 25 in one brush set, and then it's like there's like 10 different brushes for the eyes and 15 different brushes for the skin. Ridiculous. It's quite overwhelming when you're new to makeup and you're seeing like 34 makeup brushes, like the pack, the set, and you're like, where do you even start from? I was that girl. I would use every single brush. Ridiculous. Thinking about it, it makes no sense. Absolutely not. So yeah, just try different things. And if you're sitting down there wishing, oh, I wish I could do makeup like R, or whoever you're a fan of, or whichever makeup artist you like, and you're sitting down there waiting for makeup to come over you, that's not going to happen. You need to practice. Yeah, you need to dedicate some time to it, at least to get to the level that you want to attain when it comes to makeup application. So I'm just applying my foundation. This is the Match Master in 9.0 mixed with 8.0. So I already have like a small pot that I've mixed my foundation in. It just makes my work quicker and faster, and it just gives me like the perfect shade consistency that I want. I don't think I've actually ever like stuck to one actual foundation shade from any brand. This is what the foundation looks like, guys. And if you notice, I wasn't dipping the brush into my skin, which is a mistake that a lot of people make. You just want to lay your foundation on your skin. If you're using a sponge, a brush, or whatever it is you're using for your application, even if you're using your fingers, because there's a particular makeup artist on YouTube and on Instagram, I don't remember her name, but she uses her fingers to blend out like a foundation, a concealer, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm like, how do you do it? She has such a really good skin, and I think that helps as well. But anyways, diverting, don't like punch your face with your brush, with whatever you're using to apply your makeup. You know, it's not going to make it go in any better. You might just end up moving the product you already have underneath your skin, like your skincare. You might just end up moving it around, and you might end up just filling your skin and your pores with like the actual foundation. So you just want to lay it on, and it blends easier that way when you're not digging your brush into your skin. So if you're just literally laying it like you're laying paint on the wall, and that's just going to be absolutely perfect. And make sure your first layer is properly blended before you go into any other thing. If you would like to see how I do my brows, so definitely stay tuned for this part, because I'm going to be showing you like more insights into my brow application. And I shaping my brows myself. I remember the first time when I was in secondary school, and I had a hairdresser shaping my brows for me. And you know, I'm like, I'm mature now. I'm in secondary school. I think I was in like JSS 3. I'm not sure what year that is in like the UK school education system, but I was like in JSS 3, I think. And it was a Friday, thankfully, because it was a horror movie. So I went to her to shape my brows for me. Shape my brows. This woman removed my old brows and literally just left like a little bit left, because back then, like at that time and age, the way they would do their brows is almost remove everything and use like the pencil, like black pencil, to draw the whole thing like back. That was just like, I didn't even want that. I literally just wanted her to give me like a nice art, like a nice shape. She removed it. She removed like 95% of my brows. She only left like a very thin line, just a very thin one left here. And thankfully it was on a Friday, so at least it wasn't as bald as, you know, when it was time for me to go to school on Monday, because it would have been, it was the worst time of my life. I could not even be mad at her. And she took so much time doing it. I'm like, you took so much time taking off all my brows. It was funny. I would never ever forget that day. I still have PTSD from it too. Since then, nobody touches my brows for me. If I mess up my brows, and I know I messed it up myself, so I just do my brows myself. And my friends come to me to do their brows as well. I feel like I'm very good when it comes to shaping your brows. And I just use blade. I don't have time for threading and all of that. Nobody's ever going to touch my brows. Anyways, I really don't know how to walk and talk at the same time. So sorry if I'm talking and then walking, or working and then talking. I wish I could do both at the same time, but I don't know. I just feel like I need to concentrate when I'm talking, and I need to concentrate when I'm working. So what I do first is I comb my brows to, you know, see the shape, everything, to see the direction of the hair. So what I do is I draw a line at the bottom first, just slightly, like in a shading manner. Then I go to the top to do the same thing, following the natural shape of my brows. And I like to brush as I go. This just helps me again see what exactly I'm drawing on. And depending on how thick you like your brows, I don't like mine very thick. I just fill in the air without actually putting the product at the front of my brows. So what I do is I use my spoolie to get the product to the front. Generally, you want the front of your brows to be more natural than the ends. And I just keep going over it slightly until I'm satisfied. So brush as you go, brush as you go. So I've just gone in with, I'll just put a little bit of like concealer on a flat brush. This is the brush I use for my highlight. Some people use angled brushes. The angled brushes are a bit like yeah, angled. I was trying to describe it, but yeah, they're just angled. If you Google angled brushes, you'd see what would come up. Some people use that, I don't. So I like sort of starting like in the middle. And usually in just one swoop, I just bring it down. And when it comes to the front, I don't really like take my time to like line the front. What I do is I just go in sparingly because I like to keep the front of my brows as natural as it can possibly be. Yeah, that's how I do my brows. I don't line the top of my brows. If you're waiting for me to do that, that's not going to happen. I stopped doing that a long time ago because I just do not see the necessity, and it just makes my brows look too plastered on, and I don't like that feel. And to be honest, I personally, I just think it's an unnecessary step, but if it works for you, why not? Go for it. The next thing I do is put some concealer on my eyelid. I'm going with the same shade I used to highlight my brows. At this point, you can wear eyeshadow if you want to. You can wear like a natural eyeshadow. It's completely up to you. I would do that sometimes if I'm stepping out somewhere and I just don't want a blank eye, but I'm not going to do that today. If I was going to work, I wouldn't do that. So using my normal face powder, I just go in with to set my eyelid, just so that the concealer doesn't crease as much, even though later on it still creases, like especially like in that area between my eyelid and my crease, it still like creases when I open and close my eyes. But just to make it a little bit better, I add a little bit of face powder just to set that area. And you can replace this with eyeshadow as well. It's completely up to you. So I will just apply a black eye pencil, and then going with a small brush just to smoke it out, making sure it's on the same like lane, not bringing it too high. I think that looks good. So yeah, the next thing I do is I apply some of the pencil in my waterline, and I just like it to smudge a little bit. So I'm going in with the same smart so once that's done, we're going to put on our lashes, but before then I'm going to use some mascara. You could even just leave it like this, put on a little bit of powder quickly where your lipstick can go, but we're not going to do that. So up next, I'm going to be using two concealer shades, this NW42 and NC42 in the Studio Fix 24-hour smooth wear concealer. This concealer is quite matte, it dries quite quickly, so it's very important to blend it almost as soon as you apply. So I'm going to go with the NW42 first. It has like a pinkish shape, not shape, sorry, it's a pinkish shade. The NWs are warm tones. They're called neutral warm tones. That's what NW stands for. Then they have like pink undertones to reddish undertones. As the darker they are, the reddish they become. Then the lighter it is, the pinker. So I'm just gonna use this first. Then you see how I'm blending out the concealer with my brush. See, compared to the other side, you see what I've just done there, but there's still more concealer underneath the eyes, right? Doing the same thing for the other side. I blend out my concealer first. So it's almost like I'm dragging product out. I'm dragging product out gently, like in layers almost. I'm just gonna blend these ones quickly because I don't want them to dry on me. Same thing, I like blending out, like spreading it out before I get to the main thing. And when I'm blending out my concealer, I make it go up as well to kind of blend in with the brow area as well so it aligns. Then I'm going to go in with my smaller brush because my big brush obviously can't get into that small area. So I'm just making sure that there's no concealer settled into my crease. So just making sure everything is completely blended out properly and together. How pretty is that? It's so easy, guys. So now I'm gonna go in with my NC42, which is more of a cool undertone, so it's more yellowy. It's actually very yellowy, very yellowy. So just to add a little bit of brightness to the under eye, but I'm gonna go in with my small brush this time around to blend that out nicely. So you can see I'm not going to the top. You can see I'm not going to the upper part to blend it. I'm literally just almost like I'm blending the shades together into my skin, but I'm still leaving the under eye quite bright. So just keep going in with blending until you're satisfied and there's no creasing or any lines or anything like that. So I'm just gonna add a little bit on my chin area, basically following the same routine again. You see how bright that is? Yeah, that's how I want it. The reason why I'm using a small brush this time around is because I want to keep the brightness. I don't want to blend it into my skin too much. So once it's all done, I just like going in with my brush again just to blend everything together, blending it outwards, but not taking too much from the product and not moving it around as well. That is perfection. That is perfection. You can't tell me nothing. Perfection. So once the highlight is done, I do my contour. So I'm going to be doing cream contour today as well. So I'm going with my NW55 Studio Finish concealer. Just look at that. Look at the transition of those shades. That's beautiful. And I'm going with my brick brush. And I just blend it out as well. So I blend it outwards into my hairline. this is good because it hides like your double chin, like this area here and all of that. So I just keep blending until I'm satisfied. So your contour is like a number 3. Number 3. And the purpose is that the darker shade hides like this area, the areas where you put the darker shades, and when you take pictures, for example, you look in the sun, a shadow is cast on these areas where are darker. So even without the contour, naturally when you look in the sun, there are some areas that are brighter than the other, and there are some areas that are more shadowy than the other. So you're basically just using your products to accentuate that like natural effect anyways. So just like a number 3 shape. Can you see the difference? Like just look at the difference. Look at the difference. Like the warmth changes everything. The warmth makes everything better. Like you go from a blank canvas to something that actually has a shape. Like you can see it's all coming together. So I just make sure the cream is properly blended. So I'm just going in with the same brush again to contour my nose. I didn't add any extra product. I'm using what I have left on that brush first. So you can just drag it into your eye area, like underneath your brows. Ciao. Oh my god. That's pretty. That is beautiful. Beautiful. S for snatched completely. I'm feeling myself because this is skin. You hear me? Skin. So I'm actually gonna go in with my setting powder, just a little bit. I'm not using a lot. I'm just gonna use that to just go in with my setting powder. I usually don't feel the need to bake. So once that's done, I just apply a little bit of powder as well. So this is just my face powder right now, just to bring everything together and to remove the excesses. That's so good. After everything is coming together, next up I'm gonna use my sun power bronzer from MAC. This has like a reddish undertone to it, so I'm just gonna put that in my contour areas just for extra warmth. See that reddish tone? That's what I like. I love the overall like warmth of this look, to be honest. This is gorgeous. I'm not going to be using my, sorry about that sound, I'm not going to be using my usual like contour powder that you've seen a lot of times on my other videos. So I'm just going to stick to the bronzer I just used now with the cream contour, and I think that looks absolutely all right. That looks absolutely fine, and I'm really loving this look. For a little bit of color, I'm gonna be using my pink blush. This is called Fever. That's such a weird name, Fever. Smile. Get that cheekbones out, and just tap tap. So I just love like the hint of pink there. Oh, pretty a lot. Oh, love that. Love that. I'm gonna be using a more natural highlighter today. This is called Global Glow. It's from MAC. This is actually my very first highlighter from MAC, and as you can see, I've used the hell out of it. But it's a very, very nice, like silvery gold. It's not really golden, it's more silvery, but it's more like natural. It has like that peach undertone to it as well. Oh, look at that. Ooh, child. This is definitely my go-to highlighter. So your highlighter goes to the highest point of your cheekbones. Literally when you smile, this is where light bounces off of. So you have your highlighter, your blush, and your contour at the bottom. So like a 3-step kind of thing. So I did my lip pencil off camera. I just got carried away. Now that the skin is done, the eye is done, this is my normal everyday look. So I could pair it with a nude lip, but I love wearing colors on my lip, and my go-to is a red lip. I love a really, really nice red lip. But if you're going to, I mean, depending on the kind of job you have, you can wear a nude lip, you can wear a red lip. But I just, for anywhere really, I would wear a red lip to work. I would wear a red lip to, you know, when I was in uni, I would wear a red lip to class. So it just depends on you, what you're comfortable with. But I'm going to be wearing a red lip today. And yeah, and this is one of my favorite combinations. So it's either I wear Night Moth with Ruby Woo lipstick, or I wear Night Moth with Dance With Me. And this is a retro matte liquid lip color from MAC. So it's basically a matte lipstick, a matte liquid lipstick. And it looks like a, you know, Beat, right? Like BEET. It kind of looks like that color, but sometimes it comes off like red. So maybe this is not a red look, but I absolutely love this lipstick, and I love the I love the combination with the Night Matte lip pencil. So ooh, that's pretty. You see these lines, like the demarcation? I'm gonna get rid of that. So I'm just gonna go over the lip pencil line. Ooh. How beautiful is this? Love it. Mwah. Yeah, that's much better. Final look. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Thank you for tuning in today. Please don't forget to leave a thumbs up for this video. Don't forget to comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't. It's only going to take you 1 second. Subscribe. Don't forget to watch my other videos, and don't forget to share with your friends and family, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Mwah.